Okay, I know this is another video on a sword again, like for the second time this throwback, but hear me out. So today's video starts with a story. So there I was doing my Grandmaster climb with sword as usual, and I'm about halfway through right now, and I've been trying to learn the deck, how to play it, because I wasn't really playing during Fortune's Hand. So usually when I try to learn a deck, what I do is I look at streamers or people making videos on the deck, and then I can watch them play and learn from it. Problem is, no one's playing this deck. I don't know why, but like no one is. It's just, this doesn't exist. It's just not there. So I guess I have to be the one to do it. So am I gonna teach you how to play the deck? No. Like I said, I don't know how to play the deck either, but you can watch me play it, I guess. I mean, no one can afford this deck and play it themselves anyway, so I guess this is the only option. So yeah, I made some additions to the list since the last video, but here it is, the part 2 of me trying to figure out how to play Evolve Sword in this expansion, I guess. So this is the list we'll be running today. As you can see, the main addition I made was taking out the copies of King's Welcome, putting in some other cards here like Ilmisuna, or more copies of Steadfast Samurai, and as well as Alyaska. This mainly is just because I feel like early on there's not enough cards that I can play early, so adding in one Ilmisuna, sorry, and then adding a Steadfast Samurai here helps with the early game a bit. Running 3 Alyaska, you don't really need all 3 to be evolved, so you can sort of just play one on turn 4 for Tempo if you want, depending on how much you have in the hand, of course. So this just makes it a bit more workable in the earlier game. Of course, this does come at the detriment of making it much harder to find Regal Wildcat for your guaranteed OTK. And because Zelganea only invokes on the 10th turn, if you don't draw Regal Wildcat by then you don't get your 20 damage OTK. But anyway, I feel like the 20 damage OTK, while it's definitely a strong combo in this deck, it is not good to rely on it because sometimes it just doesn't work out very well for you. So this is the list of running today. Is it better than the previous one? I don't know, but I just felt like making these additions, so let's jump into some games. So our first match of the day will be against Rune, and we are going second this time. I have found the Rune matchup to be generally quite annoying and difficult to win, so let's see if we can do that. Normally I do like to keep Kagemitsu, but since it's against Rune, I don't expect them to give me a trade target early on to make good use of the Kagemitsu anyway, so we just go ahead and toss him for more early game cards that we can use to start pressuring them down from early on. Isabel's Conjuration is played in both Spellboost and item shops, so we don't really know what they're playing right now. Go ahead and play Steadfast Samurai to poke them in the face. Rune has generally no trouble clearing Steadfast Samurai anyway, so it's a bit hard to make an argument for saving it for later on. Go ahead and play the Gelt here just for pressure, and there's the Shikigami summons, which makes me think this is going to be Spellboost. You go ahead and go your standard Beastmaster on 4. This deck is a bit lacking in the turn 4 Evolve target, which is a bit awkward, but I guess you can play Beastmaster here and hit face. You can in theory use Mirror Image on either the Gelt or the Tiger here for a bit more value, but it's a bit questionable how much value you actually get out of that compared to cloning something like Kagemitsu or the weapon that you get from Alyaska later on. So we do have Amelia here, we just go ahead and play Amelia. There's no reason not to really. And just discount the Gelt. Lady of the Lands has the ability to get a Storm in the late game, as well as the Bane being a bit more useful, so we play Gelt here, try to draw into our deck more as well, try to find the Regal Wildcat as well as Alyaska. Alyaska's pretty decent against Rune. Not perfect or anything, but the damage shield is pretty helpful, I guess. There's another Kyoka, which they will evolve. Pretty annoying board here, unfortunately for me, but well, what can you do? And there's the Clash of Heroes, which will clear my Amelia. Here, go ahead and use Kagemitsu here just to trade. They actually have an opportunity to semi-lock their board here. Of course they can play something like Rune, but at least it will deny them the ability to play Kuon. And then we can sort of look for a swing next turn with some of the cards in our hand like Alyaska, or using Shield Phalanx to hide the Kagemitsus. Unfortunately for me though, my finger slipped and I played the wrong card and ended up playing Lady of the Lands here instead. I wanted to play Kagemitsu and trade it into this Yami actually, leave that board sort of locked with these relatively weak followers so we can stage a comeback next turn, but unfortunately my finger slipped, so we have to deal with this instead. And there's the Rune for my opponent, and it is spell boosted 10 times I guess, so they will get the 3 copies there. So they have 3 copies of Rune in hand now, we gotta keep track of that. And a bunch of magic missiles. Take a bunch of damage here, but we have a decent amount of healing in this deck, so if we can find those cards, we should be still in a decent position. We'll pick out the Wildcat as well, which is good. And that means that we can try to look for lethal on turn 10 if we get there. And just go ahead and use some of my forces to clear the board. I decided to get the mirror image Kagemitsu out of the way now, so that can hopefully look towards playing area at some point, as well as because I think it's gonna be hard to find Kagemitsu opportunities later on in the game. There's another 2 Runes from them, so wait, that was the first Rune, so now I guess we can keep track of how many Runes they have in their hand if we want to. It's a bit hard though, because they might have drawn some and then the Mysterian Project might be a Rune as well. We can go and keep the Kagemitsu chain going. The hope is that maybe if you get enough evils, we can finish them with Kagemitsu Rico Wildcat at some point. But for now, we need to heal so that we don't die to Rune. We can play Zelgania, it will also heal us up. Okay, their followers as well. We minimize damage coming to our face. No Ariat yet, but we can play Amelia and draw Ariat off Amelia, hopefully. We haven't seen a single copy of Ariat yet, so it's a pretty high chance of us actually getting Ariat off the Amelia here, so that's worth noting. There's their Kuon, which we don't really like. And Chaos Wheeler as well to draw them more cards. And we'll clear our Kagemitsu and a Daria as well, I guess. And unfortunately, they do leave the Feyran alive for us, which is good, I guess. Yeah, Honorable Thief here. Honorable Thief gives us the best chance of surviving, I think. If they play 4 Runes, I die, but I don't think they have 4 Runes. I mean, if they do, not much I can do about it here. So we go ahead and put our board behind the front guard generals. This has 2 main goals. One is it stops any Kuon lethals, and 2, it protects Kagemitsu. If Kagemitsu lives, we can probably kill them next turn. I don't really have healing in my hand. I could play Amelia and try to draw Ariat, but if I miss, I would have been screwed. So I think this gives me the best odds of surviving and hopefully just not dying to getting spammed by Runes here. And there's Rune. And it will summon the and then there's another Rune. If they have a third Rune here, I'm just dead. But I believe they... Yeah, and it looks like they didn't have the last Rune required to kill me, so that's good. So I managed to survive this turn. And then they can't clear it, so they can concede. So let's move on to the next game. So next we are going against Shadow here, and we're going second. I don't know why I keep going second when I play this deck, but that's just how it turned out, I guess. Shadow is not as bad as Rune, but it's probably just the individual thing, but I feel like I have trouble against Shadow. Maybe not that much, but it is pretty difficult to deal with their late game Fatal Orders. So, against Shadow, Kagemitsu is probably fine. Shadow does tend to play followers. And there's the Bonanza Necromancer. Go ahead and just protect our face with the Shield Guardian here, which will hopefully be good. An opponent drops the Spirit Curator here, which gives us a trade target for Kagemitsu, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Kagemitsu is... It's good to get Kagemitsu out of the way early because your late game cards cost so much PP, it's hard to find time to play Kagemitsu alongside them. And here I trade into the Bonanza or Necromancer instead of Spirit Curator because I think taking this extra 1 damage is better than giving them a chance to draw more of the Bonanza Necromancer. As you can see, their hand is quite small right now, so keeping their hand small should be good. You can go ahead and keep the Kagemitsu chain going with a nice mirror image. Continuously pressure them with Kagemitsu's coming out, and then go ahead and trade how their followers just clear their board, I guess. There's Milteo, which is fine, I guess. Not the worst ever. They don't really have very good reanimate targets, as you can see. And they do go ahead and evolve the Sarcophagus Wraith, which does leave 11 Beastmaster on board, which is good for us, but we're not exactly out of the woods either. So we need to get Evo count in this matchup quickly so that we can heal up and draw in the late game, because if we don't have the ability to heal, and especially playing a Resolve of the Fallen is very important in the late game for this matchup, so we need to look out for that so we get Evo count where we can. Ourselves at rarely 10 apparently. Next time Feyren comes out, we can also use Honorable Thief. And there's the Cloistered, the Christian from them, which is slightly annoying but not a big deal. You go ahead and evolve it so they will heal up, which is fine, and they will clear my Kagemitsu as well, which is not as fine, but what can you do? There's the Feyren. We go ahead and just clear, but unfortunately we don't have a good way to make good value out of this Feyren, so we go ahead and use Kagemitsu plus the Honorable Thief. The idea is to pair Kagemitsu next turn with Amelia to make a very sturdy board. My opponent has to try to answer. I go ahead and play the boots on the Feyren here. I feel like the boots sometimes get in the way, so I played it out, but honestly, without seeing area in hand and with such a small hand size, I don't think it's really a good idea to spend the boots like that. I probably should have held on to it, which you will see later on, spoilers. Thankfully, a bit of a weak turn from them, just enhancing the Sarcophagus Wraith. It does heal them a lot as well as summon a bunch of followers though, so that part is pretty annoying. We will go ahead and use Amelia here. Draw more cards from our deck. Unfortunately, still no area yet, which is kind of what we want to see at this point. And they will summon a bunch of stuff. We can use Lady of the Lands to clear some of this. This point, not really seeing a good way to win the game, which is a bit concerning, so hopefully if they put us low, we can use Zalganea to draw. If not, we have to pick up area at some point. But they are doing the characteristic Burial Rite Shadow late game of summoning a bunch of followers out of nowhere because they can. And there's a Tempo Milteo as well, which is honestly probably fine for them since I don't have that good removal. We do pick up Resolve of the Fallen off the top, which is fantastic. We can draw and clear. We pick up an area as well, so we do have some hope of clearing this board. Unfortunately, this time we don't have very much ability to clear the board, so we have to take this awkward middle ground approach, which is obviously not that good, but with this hand, it's not. There's not really anything better we can do, honestly. We have to look for heal. Look to just try to stall out without healing and draw, and hopefully we can find a way to win the game. Or maybe we can just run them out of resources at some point. So there's the He Who Wants Rock, which is quite annoying. So this time we just need to heal and protect ourselves. Very luckily we pick up Regal Wildcat off the top here, so now we can actually see a way to win next game. Next turn, if we can just survive. As you can see here is where the second pair of Gilded Boots would have been useful. We can clear we have been able to clear 2 followers here, but unfortunately because we didn't have the extra pair of Gilded Boots here, we just use Honorable Thief instead to clear the Gramarye, and hopefully hope that's enough, I guess. So thankfully they trade here, which looks like they don't have enough damage. And there's the Milteo, which is completely fine with me. It's quite a weak turn from them. In fact, this guarantees that I'll have lethal. On the off chance they put us below 4 health, we could have just used Mirror Image to clone the Regal Wildcat for lethal anyway. But yeah, we managed to survive, so this is gonna be a lethal for us, and let's move on to the next game. So for our last game today, we have the Mirror against Sword. Just to be clear, this deck is better going first than going second. It just so happens that all my good, worth showing, like reasonable to show games are all from going second. So yeah, Opponent drops the quick delay here, so it doesn't look like they're a standard Evo deck. which is fine. Our hand's not too bad. We have Zergonia to heal as well from their early aggro, which I assume they will be pulling out. There's a shoot phalanx from them, which is fine. We can answer with a shoot phalanx of our own. We have Kagemitsu next turn. We're not in too much trouble. We do drop the Gelt. At this point, our goal is to make it to the late game, because if they're playing a rally deck, which is what it looks like right now, then we can probably outperform them in the late game with our healing. So we go ahead and trade off, leave the Gelt alive, but that's fine. So this is Erica's Slide here, which is from the Bailey, the Sword of Conviction, I believe it's called, spell. So they are definitely playing rally here. I just want to make sure I clear that point here, so we go ahead and use the Steadfast into Ilmasuna. Ilmasuna's evolve effect will be able to clear the Gelt for us, so we can keep our board relatively healthy while clearing theirs. You can see they don't have much in hand either, so hopefully that's good. But they do have Amelia, so they will be able to replenish their hand quite a bit here. Amelia's such a strong card for this level of the game where you can just draw two. And unfortunately for us, they picked up Quick Blader, which is a pretty weak officer to be picking up. We go ahead and take this opportunity to heal as well as clearing their Quick Blader. Evolve a Painter Samurai, sorry, the Steadfast Samurai, mainly because we need the evil count for stuff like area and resolve of the Fallen. And then just use Steadfast Samurai to clear the Quick Blader. We want to play a bit safer here and just try to deny them as much damage as possible, because most likely we can outperform them into the late game. So for now, we just play a very safe and standard game. Drop the Feyren here. Unfortunately, the Tigers aren't targetable, so we do lose the value of Feyren's 2 damage effect. And also here we had to use the mirror image on Zelgania to clear their board. Ideally I would like to mirror image Feyren instead to buff the board more, but in this case that wasn't really an option. So my opponent dropped Zelgania here, which will clear one of my Zelganias. Hopefully and then very luckily they do hit the mirror image Zelgania here, so we have to keep our original one. And they will fail to clear our board. I'm going to use Resolve of Fallen here, which will clear their Zelgania. We don't get the draw out of it, but we have area in hand, so we're not too worried about that part. We can evolve Alyaska, continue pressuring them with a very big board here. Hit them in the face as well. And there's enough Feyren, so they do run multiple Feyrens because they are rally deck. And there's Zelgania, second one, so they will clear our follower again, as well as heal. And because they have enough rally, they can summon the front guard general. But we do have a bunch of removal in hand, so we're not too worried there. We use Exterminus weapon. Here this is just lethal because we have resolved the fall to pop the ward. Never mind. Alright. That's it for this game, I guess. Let's move on to the... Well, there's no next game, so yeah, that's it for this game. So those are all the games I have for you today. At this point, I am halfway through my climb. Hopefully that shows in my playing of this deck, and hopefully I'm playing this deck better than I did at the start. I don't really know. I've been having a bit of trouble climbing so far. I think I've been not winning too much. I feel like people play too well against this deck, and then every game I win, it feels like my opponent is misplaying or they just didn't draw super well. But oh yeah, who knows? Work in progress, I guess. I personally don't really like how free and like nothing to do this deck's early game is. If it doesn't feel like very sword-like to have a relatively weaker early game compared to usual sword decks, but it's something I have to get used to, I guess. That's it for the games I have for you today. You can try the deck if you want. It's still expensive as always though, so I'm not sure you have the vows to do it, but I guess you can try if you want. Or just play a better deck, maybe. I don't know, Spellboost seems pretty strong anyway. That's it for today, see you next time. Bye bye.